From ashes to queen, king. They threw you into the fire, not by accident, not out of mercy, but with intention. They believed the flames would finish what their words began. They believed the pressure would crush you. They believed the betrayal would silence you forever. They stood back, arms crossed, watching the smoke rise, certain that this was the end of your story. But listen closely. This was never your ending. This was your ignition. You remember the moment everything collapsed, the night when the ground beneath you cracked open, when trust turned into a blade, when love became a lesson, when loyalty became a joke whispered behind your back. They smiled as you fell. They nodded to each other, convinced. That's it, they thought. They're done. They expected tears that never stopped. They expected you to beg, to chase, to break. They expected you to disappear quietly, carrying the weight of their cruelty like a sentence you deserved. They expected ashes. But what they never understood is that ashes are not the end. Ashes are where legends begin. You see, while they were watching for your downfall, you were learning how to breathe in smoke. While they were celebrating your pain, you were memorizing the shape of the fire. Every insult became fuel. Every rejection became heat. Every night you cried alone became a silent training ground. They thought you were weak because you were quiet. They mistook your silence for surrender. But silence was never your defeat. It was your cocoon. In the darkness, you rebuilt yourself piece by piece, not into who you used to be, but into someone they would never recognize. There were nights you questioned everything, nights when your chest felt heavy, when your mind replayed their words like a curse, when doubt crept in and whispered, maybe they were right. But even then, even at your lowest, something inside you refused to die. A spark, a stubborn, defiant spark. And that spark kept saying, not like this, not today, not forever. So you stood up, even when your legs shook. You moved forward, even when you were bleeding. You kept going, even when no one was clapping. That is how real power is built, not in applause, but in solitude. Slowly, something began to change. Your pain sharpened your vision. Your heartbreak carved discipline into your soul. Your losses stripped you of illusions. You stopped chasing validation. You stopped explaining yourself. You stopped trying to be understood by people who never tried to listen. You learned a dangerous truth. Not everyone who hurts you is meant to walk with you. Not everyone who leaves is a loss. Not everyone who doubts you deserves a front row seat to your future. And that realization, that was the first crack in their confidence, because while you were rebuilding, they were still standing in the same place. They noticed your silence wasn't desperate anymore. They noticed you stopped reacting. They noticed you stopped reaching out. And that terrified them, because nothing scares insecure people more than someone who no longer needs them. They began to watch from a distance. They began to whisper again. But this time, the tone had changed. Confusion replaced certainty. Unease replaced arrogance. They asked each other, why aren't they broken? Why aren't they begging? Why do they look calm? Did they really think you would stay shattered forever? You didn't rise loudly. You rose deliberately, like a storm gathering strength beneath still skies, like lava moving beneath the surface, patient and unstoppable. You started choosing yourself, your time, your energy, your standards. You stopped pouring into empty cups. You stopped shrinking to make others comfortable. You stopped apologizing for your ambition, your growth, your boundaries. And with every step forward, you felt it. Power returning. Not loud power, not arrogant power, but grounded, unshakable power. The kind that doesn't need to announce itself. The kind that changes the room just by walking in. That's when the fire changed. What once burned, you began to bow to you. The same flames they used to destroy you now forged you. Your scars became armor. Your tears became wisdom. Your loneliness became independence. You no longer looked at the past with anger. You looked at it with clarity. They didn't break you. They revealed you. And then the shift became undeniable. They saw you thriving where you were supposed to fail, standing tall where you were meant to crawl, smiling, not because life was perfect, but because you were finally free. Free from their approval, free from their expectations, free from the version of you that settled for less. They felt it, that uncomfortable realization that hits when it's too late. You had outgrown them. Some of them tried to come back, with apologies that arrived after the lesson was learned, with compliments that felt hollow, with curiosity disguised as concern. But you saw through it. You didn't need revenge. You didn't need explanations. Your peace was louder than any argument. Your indifference was sharper than any insult. And that was the moment you truly won, because the ultimate power is not proving them wrong. It's realizing you never needed to prove anything at all. You had stepped into mastery, like a queen rising from ashes, crown forged in fire, like a king standing unshaken, throne built from resilience. You carried yourself differently now, spoke differently, moved differently, not rushed, not reactive, not desperate, grounded, centered, unapologetic. You became the storm they couldn't predict, the calm they couldn't control, the presence they couldn't ignore. And the most beautiful part? You didn't lose your heart. You refined it. You didn't harden. You strengthened. You didn't become cold. You became discerning. You learned that kindness doesn't mean access, that love doesn't mean self-abandonment, that loyalty starts with self-respect. Now when you look back, you don't flinch. You nod, because you understand something now that you didn't before. You had to burn to become this. You had to lose them to find yourself. You had to walk alone to learn your own power. You had to be underestimated to discover your depth. They played their role perfectly. They were the fire. And you were always royalty. So stand there for a moment. Feel the weight of the crown, not heavy, but earned. Feel the calm in your chest where chaos used to live. Feel the strength in your voice when you say, I survived. I evolved. I rose. From ashes to queen, from ashes to king. And this time, no one can take it from you. Because this power, it was forged within. Life often becomes hardest when you are on the right path. When everything feels easy, growth is limited. Real growth is born under pressure. Diamonds are created by pressure, and so are strong people. Those who laugh at you, doubt you, or underestimate you are unknowingly shaping your story. They are not sent to break you, but to teach you how to rise. Many people quit when they are closest to winning. Feeling tired does not mean you are losing. It means you are evolving. Every day you choose not to give up, you become stronger than you were yesterday. Remember this, the people who don't see your value today will be shocked by your success tomorrow. Work in silence. Let your results make the noise. Don't waste your energy trying to prove yourself to those who envy your light. Focus on your vision, your goals, and your purpose, because the moment you believe in yourself, the world has no choice but to notice. Pain is not permanent. Struggle is not failure. Today's hardship is tomorrow's power. Keep going. Your story is still unfolding. You didn't become cold. You became discerning. You learned that kindness doesn't mean access, that love doesn't mean self-abandonment, that loyalty starts with self-respect. Now when you look back, you don't flinch. You nod, because you understand something now that you didn't before. You had to burn to become this. You had to lose them to find yourself. You had to walk alone to learn your own power. You had to be underestimated to discover your depth. They played their role perfectly. They were the fire. And you were always royalty. So stand there for a moment. Feel the weight of the crown, not heavy, but earned. Feel the calm in your chest where chaos used to live. Feel the strength in your voice when you say, I survived, I evolved, I rose, from ashes to queen, from ashes to king. And this time, no one can take it from you. Because this power, it was forged within.